Good morning, Year 6, and welcome to another reading lesson. Today's our final day on non-fiction all about a fair trade. Please make sure you have your eyes peeled if you go maybe grocery shopping this weekend in supermarkets and look for fair trade products. Like Miss Ad says, she buys fair trade bananas. I'd like to see if you can spot any other fair trade products in the supermarket. It'd be interesting to see some pictures on Seesaw. So now I'm going to share my screen, and firstly, we're going to go through some great pieces of reading work. Okay, so first I'd like to start with Rebecca from Oxford class. She has produced fantastic presentations throughout. She's gone in and made her correction with green. She's highlighted it in green to show that's her correction and marked her work using the highlighter on Word. So well done to you, Rebecca, numbering all your questions and marking through. Another example of great presentation and marking is Chloe from Kent class. She has displayed fantastic presentation throughout, marked her questions as well as highlighting through to double check. She's even dated and named the subject, which is reading, so well done to you, Chloe. And then lastly, from Sheffield, we have Nadia, who has displayed fantastic presentation again throughout, writing out all her answers. You don't need to write out the questions, just the answers, and has marked through them, so well done to you, Nadia. So we're going to continue reading the text. As Miss Alice said, she's going to zoom in to the subheadings and read through with you. Remember, the questions in green are for you to have a go, and the questions in black are modelled to you by me. Okay, so let's begin. Shop to spread a smile. Find out how the choices we make here in the British Isles can change the lives of people across the globe. It's time to think about where the things we buy every day come from and how they are made. Fair trade helps more than 7 million people across Africa, Asia and Latin America by making sure that they get a fair price for goods that they produce, like food, clothes and toys. So it's not just food that they produce that's fair trade, it's other things like clothes and toys as well, so have a look out for those. By swapping, which means changing, our usual products for fair trade ones, we can make a huge difference to the lives of lots of people like the Kwapa cocoa farmers in the Ashanti region of Ghana in Africa. My question is, why does the author use bold letters for the title? Well, I think the bold letters are used in order to entice the readers. It's very eye-catching and it allows the readers to straight away see that this text is probably about maybe it doesn't really tell me it's about fair trade just yet, but because I know what fair trade is, Shop to Spread a Smile already suggests to me that this article may be about fair trade and how it can help people and put a smile on their face. I know there's a picture here as well. I'm just going to flip here. That also allows me to see what this could be, this article is potentially about. So the title is actually used in bold letters in order to catch the reader's attention. It's used in different colours as well, and it's quite the font size is quite big again, so it makes it eye-catching for the readers to see. Your two questions, so you have how does the information under the title help readers, so this information, piece of information here, and the second question is, by swapping our usual products for fair trade ones, we can make a huge difference to the lives of lots of people. What does the word ones refer to in this sentence? So fair trade ones within this sentence. Does it refer to divine chocolate bars, bananas, items, or cocoa beans? Okay, so I'd like you now to pause the video and have a go at these two questions. Please make sure you write down number one and then your answer, number two, and then your answer, and then come back to the video once you have finished. Okay, so let's go to question number one. So we've got how does the information under the title, so we've got information, and we know it's under the title, help the readers. Okay, well, I know this is the piece of information here, and I'm going to read it out again. It says, find out how the choices we make here in the British Isles can change the lives of people across the globe. Well, I know that the information under the title gives us almost a little bit of an idea of what this non-fiction text is going to be about, what this article is going to tell us. So it gives us extra information and almost summarises all the information in the text into a few words here, and it just tells us about how the choices we as consumers can make can change people's lives across the globe. And we know that further reading will tell us how we can change lives. So again, the information under the title gives the readers a summary of what this article is going to be about. Number two, by swapping our usual products for fair trade ones, so here, we can make a huge difference to the lives of people. What does the word, so just the word, ones refer to in this sentence? Well, I know it's not talking about divine chocolate bars just yet. It's not talking about a specific item, it's just talking about something, but it hasn't given us the exact item that it's talking about. So we know it's not bananas. Then I have items. I think potentially items would work here, but let's see cocoa beans as well. Fair trade cocoa beans. I definitely don't think divine chocolate bars, bananas and cocoa beans work here because it hasn't stated specifically what item. Therefore, ones refer to items in this sentence. So it's asking us, by swapping our usual fair trade items, we can make a huge difference to the lives of people. So the word ones in this sentence refers to items, the different products we buy, that's what you can call an item. For example, my water bottle can be referred to as an item. Okay, we're going to go on to the next section, which is bright idea. In 1878, a young Ghanaian called Tete Kuroshi returned from working on a cocoa farm in Equatorial Guinea with a handful of cocoa seeds in his pocket. He'd learned that cocoa sold for a high price in Europe, where it's used to make chocolate, and believed that it would grow well in Ghana's hot climate, and he was right. Today, Ghana is the world's second largest cocoa producer, and these beans provide millions of people with the means to live. However, the cocoa in Ghana is grown on small family farms, and because of this, farmers can find it difficult to get a fair price from the big chocolate companies. My question is, why does the author choose the heading? So it's the heading bright idea for one of this section, so that doesn't make sense for this section. For this section. Okay, so the title here, it's presented to us here in a different color. It's in red, and it's also in the font is quite big compared to the text. So the author decides to choose bright idea as a heading for this section because he got a bright idea from believing that cocoa beans would be sold for a high price in Europe, and it could be used to make chocolate. And because he believed it would grow well in Ghana's hot climate, which it actually does, it's allowed them to get money to do that. So it shows here that Ghana is the second world largest cocoa producer, and these beans provide millions of people with the means to live. So this idea that he got of using the beans to actually make chocolate has provided millions of people to live, which is why it's labelled a bright idea, because he almost got like a light bulb moment, which allowed him to think of what he could do to make money and help people. So that is why a bright idea has been chosen for this section. Your question, which you're now going to pause the video, so you've got a true or false statement, and it's Tete arrived from Equatorial Guinea with a handful of pumpkin seeds in his pockets. You need to decide if this is true or false, so please pause the video and have a go at question number 3. Okay, so let's have a look. So it says, Tete arrived from Equatorial Guinea with a handful of pumpkin seeds in his pocket. So let's have a look if we can see the word arrived within this sentence. Tete Kuroshi returned from working on a cocoa farm in Equatorial Guinea with a handful of cocoa seeds in his pocket. So actually, he didn't have pumpkin seeds in his pocket, he had cocoa seeds in his pocket, which is why this statement here is false. We're now going on to beans means business. Okay, cocoa farmer Nana Frimpong Abergris was so worried that Ghana's local farmers were going to lose out to big companies that he formed a group called a cooperative with other farmers in the area. They decided to collect and sell their own cocoa and use the profits to improve the lives of people in their communities. Profits is the money left over once you have spent all so say, for example, if you are making a water bottle, it's all the costs that you reduce from the price, and that is the money that's left over. So once you have taken away all the costs and sales, the money that you have left over is referred to as your profit. So they decided to collect and sell their own cocoa and use the profits to improve the lives of people in their communities. Then the farmers decided that they also wanted to make their own chocolate bar. So with the help of charities like Comic Relief, they launched the Divine Fair Trade Milk Chocolate Bar. So you have two questions here. Number 4, Nana Frimpong is a caring character. Find one piece of evidence to support this impression. And then you have number 5, which is why does the author choose the heading beans means business for this, that doesn't make sense, for this section. I'd like you now to pause the video and have a go at these two questions. Okay, so let's have a look. So for number four, we have Nana Frimpong is a caring character. So they've given us an impression here that he's caring. We need to find one piece of evidence to support this impression. So we need to go into the text to find a piece of evidence to support the impression of him being quite caring. So caring also means kind and generous. So let's have a look if we can find something to support this impression. So Nana Frimpong Abergreaves was so worried that Ghana's local farmers were going to lose out to big companies. So he formed a group called the Cooperative. You could potentially use that, but let's see if we can find a stronger piece of evidence with other farmers in the area. They decided to collect and sell their cocoa beans and use profits to improve the lives of people in their communities. So you could also have to improve the lives of people in their communities. Then the farmers decided they also want to make their own chocolate bars. So with the help of charities like Comic Relief, they launched the Divine Fair Trade Milk Chocolate Bar. Okay, so I have two different pieces of evidence, so you could pick one or the other. The reason why he formed a group called the Cooperative could support that he's a caring character is because he was so worried that farmers would lose out, which is why he decided to form a group so they could feel at one and make the area a better place by doing something all together instead of working individually. Well, secondly, you could have had, he wanted to improve, so with the group, he actually wanted to improve the lives of other people within the community, which shows he is caring as he's thinking about other members within his community. And then number five, why does the author choose the heading Beans Means Business for this section? Well, Beans Means Business is chosen for this section because the heart of their business is actually using cocoa beans, which is why this subheading is called Beans Means Business. As you can see here, they decided to collect and sell their own cocoa, which means that the money that they have generated, so the profit and money that they're getting from sales, is because of the cocoa beans, which is why beans means business. They need those beans in order to do business. So that is why it's chosen for number five. Let's continue on reading. Sweet deal. The Kwapa cocoa farmers use their papa beans, meaning the best of the best in the Twi language, to make the Divine chocolate bars, and they were soon on sale in supermarkets across the British Isles. The Kwapa cocoa farmers own half of the Divine Chocolate Company, which means that as well as getting a good price for their papa cocoa beans, they also get a share of the profits from the sale of the chocolate bars. This money has been invested into communities of the Kwapa cocoa members to build wells for clean drinking water, new toilet facilities, and school. So you have two questions here. We can do the first one together, even though it's not in black, we can do this together. So number 6 is this money has been invested into the communities of the Kwapa cocoa members to build wells for clean drinking water. Give the meaning of the word invested in this sentence. So as I said earlier, invested is when you have leftover money, so it's profit that's generated. You can use the profits, or it can just be any money that you have to put into a business or a community, for example, to give them in order for their growth. So in this instance, invested means within this sentence. So you can see the money has been invested, which means put into the communities of the Kwapa cocoa members in order for them to have wells for clean drinking water, toilet facilities and schools. So the money has actually been put into the local community in order to give them clean drinking water, new toilet facilities and schools. So it's to benefit them. So I'd like you now, because we have done question number 6 together, to pause the video and have a go at number 7, which is why does the author choose the heading Sweet Deal for this section? And we need to make sure we read over our work so we don't make these silly errors. Learning curve for us all. Okay, so have a go at that question. Why does the author choose the heading Sweet Deal for this section? I'd like you to pause the video and have a go at the question. Okay, so we know that this section here of the text, so under the subheading Sweet Deal, it's all about the Divine Chocolate Company, how the Kwapa cocoa farmers own half of the Divine Chocolate Company. So obviously we know this is a chocolate bar and it's quite sweet, which is why it's called Sweet Deal, as they have made a deal with charities such as Comic Relief to, start their chocolate bar. So we could actually find other pieces of evidence to help us. To make the Divine chocolate bars was soon on sale in supermarkets. Again, there's a deal between here. to sell an item within a supermarket, you need to think of the cost and the price you're going to sell the item at. So in this case, it's the chocolate bar. So they need to think of prices. So they have made a deal with British supermarkets in order to sell the Divine chocolate bars, which is another reason as to why you could say that sweet deal has been used for this section of the text, because they have made a deal with supermarkets in order to sell their chocolate bar. Okay, so I'd love to see if you have different responses too. Please do not mark them incorrectly if I haven't said a specific answer, because there's many different ways you can interpret this. So it's absolutely fine. Please send it in on Seesaw and your teachers will love to have a look through those. Next, we have a helping hand. A helping hand. 14-year-old Jennifer Orifawa Kusi's father is a cocoa farmer and a member of the Kuapa Cocoa. When she was younger, Jennifer had to leave her family and go to school in Kumasi, 2 hours away from her village. Now the money from the sale of fair trade cocoa beans and Divine chocolate has helped to fund a school just a short walk away in her village. I love my school and my favourite subject is English, says Jennifer. When I grow up, I want to be a nurse so that I can help the people in my community when they get ill. For number 8, your question is, now the money from the sale of fair trade cocoa beans and Divine chocolate has helped to fund a school just a short walk away in her village. Pick the word or words that is closest in meaning to fund in this sentence. So fund has been used in the context of a school just a short walk away. So we know that the money has been used to fund a school just a short walk away from her village. So you need to pick the words. The words you have are pay for, find, look for, and buy. And it could be one word, or you may have picked two. That's up to you in this sentence. So you're going to pause the video and have a go at this question. Okay, so let's have a look. So I'm going to read the piece of evidence out again. So now the money from the sale of fair trade cocoa beans and Divine chocolate has helped to fund a school just a short walk away in her village. Pick the word or words that is closest in meaning to fund in this sentence. Well, I know that fund means to buy or pay for something. So pay for in this context would work because it is the Divine chocolate has actually helped her to pay for a school just a short walk away from her village. Find would definitely not work in this sentence because I know fund is an action of buying something to pay for something. You have like, for example, you can have a holiday fund. That is the money you're going to use to pay for a holiday. So find would definitely not work. Look for as well would not work in this context as it's not a synonym for find. And then we have buy. Well, I think buy in this context would actually not work because it hasn't helped her to buy the school. She hasn't bought the school outright. So definitely the word that you would use here in this context is just pay for, as fund means having cash or money to help you put towards paying for something. Okay, and then we have I've skipped a slide. Swap it. So this is a fair trade logo. So it's a sticker usually you're looking for on items, or on fruit usually it's a sticker. But if you've bought, for example, tinned tomatoes or something, it can be at the back of the packet. So if it's on a cardboard tube, for example, you can find it at the back of the packet where the ingredients usually are. So have a look out for those either within your homes or if you go to the supermarket during the weekend. So let's continue reading. Swap it. This year's Fair Trade Fortnight runs from the 22nd February to the 7th of March, and we want you to swap your usual products for those with a stamp of approval from the Fair Trade Foundation. By thinking more carefully about the products you buy and where they come from, you can help to make a difference to the lives of poor people around the world. So when you hit the shops with mum or dad, keep your eyes peeled, which means keep a lookout for the Fair Trade mark. You have two questions. So the first one is, why does the author choose the heading swap it for this section? And then number 10 is, why should we swap our usual products for the products with a stamp of approval from the Fair Trade Foundation? So here you're just focusing on the heading, why swap it is used as a heading in this section. And then this question is a why question, so you know it needs to start with because. So have a go at question number 9 and 10 and then come back to the video to hear the answers. Okay, let's go with number 9. Why does the author choose the heading swap it for this section? Well, to me, the heading swap it has been used so it can show readers that actually we should swap our products and look out for the fair trade stickers or fair trade marks on items, and swap our usual items for fair trade ones, as it helps producers across the world. It gives them a better life for the products that they are selling in the supermarket. So I know that is why the author has chosen Swap It for this section, as they want us to swap our usual items for fair trade ones. So to look out for, actually it says here, swap our usual products for those with a stamp of approval from the Fair Trade Foundation. So that is why they want us to do that. Number 10, why should we, also I just noticed this question number 9 actually starts with why, so it should also begin with because they'd like us to swap our usual products for the stamp of fair trade, stamp of approval from fair trade ones. And then number 10, another question which is starting with why, we should swap our usual products for the products with a stamp of approval from the Fair Trade Foundation. Well, I've kind of actually answered it in number 9, and that is because it's giving people a better life. So it can help, you can make a difference to people, to the lives of poor people around the world by buying fair trade products, as money is going towards them for health, education, buying necessities, and that is why we should be buying fair trade products, as it can help the lives of poor people around the world. So 2 very similar questions here, but worded very differently. This is thinking about how the author chooses the heading to entice readers, and this is about why we should be buying products with a stamp of approval from Fair Trade Foundations. So well done if you have got both of those correct, and if you haven't, please just go in and make those corrections. And then we have make your mark, and I know this definitely was about all the things we can do at school to make a difference. So the fair trade mark doesn't just apply to food and clothes, you can make your school fair trade too. Follow these top tips to find out how. Get started. Ask your teacher to help you set up a group which meets to discuss why fair trade is important and how you can get the rest of your school involved. Perfect plan. Write out a fair trade policy for your school and get it signed by your head teacher. This will help everyone in the school understand what you are doing and why it is important. Fair food. Persuade your school to start buying fair trade products like chocolate for your tuck shop, and sugar, rice and vegetables for your school dinners. So again, like I said, on my bananas, it's usually a sticker, but here you can see on the dairy milk, it's actually on the front of the packet. If you can't find it at the front, it's usually you can find it at the back of the item as well. So just look carefully and have your eyes peeled for that fair trade stamp of approval. Take action. Ask your teacher to log on to fairtrade.org.uk to fill out the application form to become a fair trade school. You'll have the stamp of approval in no time. Bake Off. You've probably seen Divine chocolate in the shops, but did you know the company is owned by cocoa farmers in Ghana, Africa? So this fair trade fortnight, why not cook up a Divine chocky treat for your friends? You could even make these yummy brownies. These brownies are seriously tasty. And this last bit here, does your school use any of the Fair Trade Foundation's 3,000 licensed products? If not, talk to your teachers about how important it is to support the people who grow our food, and get them to help. My mistake, sorry, and get them to help. You never know. Your school could even get a Fair Trade Award. Cool. I'm just going to make this a little bit bigger so you can all see it. Hopefully you should be able to see that too. Sorry, my laptop is going crazy. Okay, so I'd like you to pause the video, and your question is, what could your school win if they support the Fair Trade Foundation? I have made the section bigger, so please have a look here for you to find your answer. So pause the video and have a go at that question. Okay, so the question is asking us, what could your school win if they support the Fair Trade Foundation? So I know it's at the bottom of this page here, and I'm going to look for the word win. You never know, you could it says it here, you never know, your school could get a Fair Trade Award. Cool. So this is what we could win if our school support the Fair Trade Foundation's licensed products. So again, that is what we'd like to win. So maybe school council, we can have some suggestions to Miss Ryan to be a fair trade school. That'd be very interesting. Now your questions, the final set of questions that you have to do. So this is where you'll have the text open up in front of you on another browser, on your PDF file. So you can have a YouTube video on one tab and then another tab for your reading. And you're just going to have these 3 simple questions. So the number 12 asks you to find a piece of evidence to show how the author persuades readers to buy fair trade products. So a piece of evidence for how they persuade you to buy fair trade products, and another one to show how we can take positive action. And then number 13, you're matching each of the subheadings with a summary of the different headings. And then lastly, number 14 is a question, which is why, so we know that has to start with because, has the author used pictures throughout the text? So again, go to your the non-fiction text, and then have a look as to why the author has used pictures to help us. Okay, so pause the video now, please, and have a go at those questions. Okay, for number 12, I will say there'll be different pieces of evidence. So if I haven't mentioned something that you have picked, please just send it in on Seesaw. Do not mark it incorrect, because it may be that you've actually picked a correct piece of evidence, but Miss Ahad just hasn't mentioned it. So I need to find a piece of evidence to show how the reader persuades. So we know that using persuasive techniques is how the reader can make us think about how we should go and buy fair trade products. Well, I know definitely this section here, Swap It, it tells us about the fair trade run, how we can swap our usual products for fair trade ones. So you can say definitely under Swap It, there's a piece of evidence, for example, keep your eyes peeled for the fair trade mark, which shows us we should go out and keep our eyes peeled to look for fair trade products. I definitely know that another piece of evidence we can get for persuading us to buy fair trade is from here, because the money is invested into communities. It makes you think that you'd like to help these people because it goes towards great causes such as clean drinking water, new toilet facilities and schools. So that would be another way as to how the author persuades you to go out and buy fair trade products. As you know, the profits are going towards a good cause. You can have a few different pieces of evidence. Another way is actually through the bright idea, because it's a chocolate bar that they, sorry, the wrong section. Yeah, Beans Business is because they have decided to, again, improve communities. That's another way to persuade readers that actually they feel that they want to make a change and help people, which is why they should go out and buy fair trade products. Yeah, so those are the pieces of evidence that I have as to why it helps you to persuade the reader. You could also have all the different headings. That was my other point that I wanted to get on, is the different headings also help us to persuade us to go out and buy fair trade products, because it breaks it down each one by one as to how a fair trade product is even thought of and what the process is like. So again, you could use that to help you through. How to take positive action. So you need a piece of evidence for positive action. Well, if you've picked any piece of evidence from this section here, for example, asking your teacher to help you make a group, which means to discuss ideas. If it's to make a fair trade policy, this is another positive action you could do towards fair trade. Persuade your school to start buying fair trade products. Win a fair trade award if you if you purchase one of the 3,000 licensed products for. Or is it that ask your teachers to log in and fill out the application form? There are many positive pieces of evidence to show positive action of fair trade and how the reader portrays that. So it's up to you to pick what piece of evidence. It's just one piece of evidence for each. I've given you a few different ideas for each of the points we have here. And then number 13 here, you are matching the subheading to the summary of the text. So what I'm going to do it in a color format so people so we don't get confused. If you want, write it out. If you've written out 1 to 4 and then also have matched it 1 to 4 again, that's absolutely fine. Or simply if you've written out each of the sentences, that's absolutely fine. I know, sorry, I didn't make my instruction clear earlier that it's up to you to write the sentence or number them. It's completely up to you, but please make sure the presentation is neat. You do not need to print this out. Okay. So I'm going to get my highlighters and I'll go with beans means business. So that's the first one. So with beans means business, we need to look at a summary of what it means. So provides readers with an insight into the difference money from fair trade products can make, empowers readers to make a difference beyond the shopping centre, gives information about initiative that has been set up by local people, encourages readers to make alternative purchases for a period of time. Well, after going to beans means business, I know that beans means business is actually giving people the initiative to it gives people, sorry, not initiative, it gives people information about an initiative that has been set up by local people because they thought of using the beans as it's in Ghana to grow because it's a hot climate, and it actually worked out for the best for them because it goes towards a divine chocolate bar. We then have swap it, and then we need to, I'm going to highlight that in orange, so if you want to label it with a different number, that's fine, or write it out with your sentence, that's fine. So swap it, I have gone with it encourages readers to make alternative purchases for a period of time. Remember here, I've actually got the text here. It tells us here that actually we should swap our usual products for those with a stamp of approval from the Fair Trade Foundation. So thinking about how we as consumers can do that, and to keep our eyes peeled for this logo on items in order to, sorry, not this logo, this stamp on items in order to understand that it's different from other products as it is a fair trade item. Next, the subheading, a helping hand. So I'm going to go with that with green. Okay, a helping hand. So with a helping hand, it is, let's just summarize it. Okay, we know that this is actually about Jennifer being able to go to school. She said she loved her school because of the Fair Trade cocoa beans and Divine Chocolate. It's helped to fund a local school just a short walk away from her village. So I know that will work with that one. So a helping hand provides readers with the insight into the difference money from fair trade products can make. As you can see, it allowed her to go to school. And then lastly, for make your mark, it will go with empowers readers to make a difference beyond the shopping centre. Oh, sorry, I've marked that in the same colour, but it will go with mark your work. I'll just put purple there to help you. Yeah, so that is mark your work, because it is telling people's make your mark. It's giving the readers the different ideas that they can do beyond the shopping centre, such as within schools, to make a difference. So, and then lastly, for question number 14, I don't want to cut off that question. The reason why pictures have been used is to give readers an insight. If someone hasn't been to Ghana, for example, they're able to see where the money has been spent and what the process is like for, moving the movement of cocoa beans here, and where the money is going towards, for example, making a well for water, for clean drinking water. The different products here, I can see a fair trade chocolate bar has been used here, and the children's lives it's helpful towards education. So that is why pictures are used, to help the reader understand what it is like out in Ghana, as some of us may not have actually visited Ghana ever. So this is great, so we can see some pictures to understand what it is like and the process of how fair trade products are produced. Okay, so well done for getting through the entire video. What I'm going to ask is you are going to now record yourself reading the whole section. So sorry, the whole text. So I'm not assigning a section today. I'm asking you to read the whole text and send that in on Cecil. So I can't wait to see your great reading, and I will see you tomorrow. Goodbye.